Welcome to A Better You podcast. Let's start today to develop a better you. This podcast takes on life's challenges and obstacles, such as overcoming addictions, behaviors, midlife career changes, to keeping your family together. The show that gives you take-home assignments to overcome obstacles of the week. Receive godly wisdom for a more fulfilling and purpose-driven life with Anthony McFarland. Let's get started with crafting a better you.
This is Anthony McFarland, and welcome to A Better You. One day a man visited his doctor because he was in excruciating pain. The doctor asked him, "Where does it hurt?" The man answered, "All over." The doctor told the man to touch his shoulder. The man touched his shoulder and cried out in pain. Next, the doctor told the man to touch his forehead. The man touched his forehead and cried out in pain again. The doctor told the man to touch his knee. The man touched his knee and winced in pain. He said, "Doctor, everywhere I touch, I'm in pain." The doctor thoroughly examined the man and concluded, "No wonder you're in pain. Everywhere you touch, you have a dislocated finger." We may laugh at the ridiculousness of this man's situation, but many of us are doing the same thing, just in different ways. Many of us feel like everything in our lives is wrong, especially in this season. Yet, in fact, just one thing in our lives is off. However, this one thing affects everything. This one thing is that many of us are living a life without purpose. We are simply going through the motions, existing day by day, weighed down by the emptiness of a life without meaning. And therefore, it becomes hard for us to handle the warfare of life. And we allow things to prevent us from living this big life that God intended for us to live. Are you following me? So it's important to have purpose. I've seen lives filled with loneliness and despair when no specific purpose has been embraced. On the other hand, I have seen drastic improvements in psychological and spiritual well-being when people have identified a meaningful purpose. You see, when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. When purpose is not known, when you're faced with challenges in life, the challenges can overtake you, overwhelm you, can almost choke the life out of you, but because you don't have that why. You don't know your why. You don't understand why God placed you here. You don't have a passion and purpose that's burning on the inside of you that says, come hell or high water, I have to do what I've been placed here to do, and I'm going to do it in a big way. Now, before we move on, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Do me a favor, click, like, and share it with someone you know who needs to be challenged in some way. At the same time, encouraged in their faith journey. You know, everyone who sends me an email sharing just one takeaway that spoke volumes to you from today's podcast will be entered into a raffle to win an Amazon gift card. So you can email me at anthony@abetteryoupodcast.com. That's anthony@abetteryoupodcast.com. Okay, are you ready to take some notes and do some work? Then take out a pen and a pad, get some juice, and let's get started. And of course, if you're driving, just listen, and then when you get home later on, take some notes and let's see if you can get a few takeaways from this podcast today. You know, one of the greatest gifts as a human is the ability to choose how to live your life. Without purpose, what's the point of getting up every day? Life can't be just about growing up and getting a job and taking a few vacations, getting married, having one or two kids, white picket fence, and then dying. It can't. It has to be more than that. Is that why we are here on earth, just to do those few simple things? I believe that we are have been put here on earth by God for a specific purpose, a special purpose, which is up to us. It's up to you and I to live that purpose out, find that purpose, because in the purpose is the treasure, and then do it with all of your heart. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, purpose is defined as, one, the object toward which one strives, or for which something exists, an aim or a goal. The second definition is a result or effect that is intended or desired, an intention. And then the third, it's defined as determination, resolution, and the matter at hand, the point at issue, the point at hand. In other words, what we are to do, again, come hell or high water, because we understand our purpose in life. We understand the objective, and we're charting out how we're going to do what it is that we've been called to do. Purpose in life is the intended result of our focus, determination, resilience, and intention to really live a fulfilling life, to really be everything that God created us to be, and do everything that God created us to do. Why is purpose so important, friends? A purpose sets the entire context for our lives. Without a clearly defined purpose, we're just a haphazard combination of goals and non-goals, and actions and non-actions, and meandering through space and time human beings, if I can say it like that. Purpose is a master plan for our life. Knowing our purpose helps us define our goals. It helps us avoid getting lost in the monotony of daily life by keeping our eyes on the target, keeping our eyes on the prize. Paul said, I press towards the mark of the high calling in Christ Jesus. Understanding that no matter what I go through in this earth realm, man, I'm doing it on purpose, and there's a greater prize for me. And so therefore, I'm going to do it big to the best of my ability, because God is going to get the glory out of it, right? And it'll be satisfying to me to know that I have done that which I have been placed here in the earth realm to do. When we think about a purpose is a master plan for our life in some respect. Knowing our purpose helps us define our goals. It helps us avoid getting lost again in the things that are really meaningless in life. Purpose is not something that others choose for us. Rather, it is something we choose. We must choose for ourselves. It emerges from an exploration of what we value the most. When we are defining our purpose in life, it is important to not worry about how we will go about achieving it. When we identify and commit to our intentions, the opportunities and methods for achieving our purpose will begin to show up. In fact, they are often already in our lives, but we may not have noticed them because we're not paying attention to them. I believe that some of the greatest blessings that we're looking for are right before us already. There's treasure in relationships that you have, but are you really paying attention to the relationships, those that God has placed in your life? Because there's gold in connections. And so as long as your purpose fills you with passion, it can be simple and safe or grandiose and daring. it's important that we understand that we do it to the fullest. We do it in a real big way. And so I want to share with you a few takeaways, 5 ways to live life big and on purpose to make your life happier and more fulfilling. The first thing that we have to do is be grounded to a calling that is bigger than ourselves. While living with purpose won't guarantee higher paychecks and fancy property, there is a desire to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I'm telling you, when you're a part of something bigger than yourself, there's this internal fulfillment that manifests. This joy, this like you can't really explain it, but it's like, man, it just like hits you right there that you know that you're doing, what you were called to do. The second way to live life big is help others live their purpose by empowering them, by helping someone else. An advantage to living in your purpose is that you discover your strengths and your gifts that really make a difference, and be more willing to be of service to those around you in your community at large. I always ask people, is everything that you're doing about you, or is everything that you're doing a part of your call to make things and people and places around you better? The third is you help others physically and mentally in the way they need the help. Well, but let me say it like this. You physically and mentally need to be healthy so that you can thank yourself. And then you can help someone else with their physical and mental dispositions that they may be experiencing. See, if there's no healthy you can't help anybody else be a healthy them. Yes, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Living a lifestyle not of your choosing can subject you to severe mental health decline. Anxiety begins to attack us as you experience a rise in excessive worry and irritability and lack of concentration, among other things. I believe when you're in the wrong place, it will affect your physical and mental health. I believe that when you're connected to the wrong people, it will have an adverse effect on your physical and mental health. And so it's important that you are healthy for you, mentally, physically, so that you can thank yourself. In fact, a Harvard article explains that researchers studied the risk of cardiovascular death between people who reported living with a sense of purpose and those who didn't, and found the risk of death was 20% lower in those who reported living with purpose. I'm telling you, purpose is powerful. Living your life out loud and big, man, I'm telling you, it brings an unconscious shift in your health. You're not even conscious that you're causing your body and your mental, your mind to be healthy, but you are. Now here's a big one. If you're going to live your life big, right? You have to learn how to forgive others and let go of bitterness. And then you'll find that life gets a little bit easier. Life becomes more peaceful when you when you no longer have to hold on to year-long grudges and misunderstandings that have caused you unhappiness. When you don't have to hold on to what somebody did to you 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. If you have time, you might want to go to Amazon and pick up our new book. My wife and I published a new book through Harvest Publishing called Leading While Bleeding. There's so many people living life bleeding all over everything and everybody and everywhere they go. Now, when we talk about forgiving others and letting go of bitterness, this isn't to say that you become unfeeling to injustice or deliberate disrespect from others. Forgiveness does not excuse a wrong or an action. Rather, people who choose to live a purposeful life are more inclined to choose peace over tension. According to Andre Brandt, PhD, MFT, he says you actually might feel an unwillingness to forgive despite knowing that you need to do it yourself. Had to take some water there. However, it takes a gradual process of acknowledging that what is done is done. I'm going to say that again. It takes a gradual process of acknowledging. In other words, you coming to yourself and realizing, hey, what has been done, what has happened, it's been done. And so then you're able to release the hurt and suffering caused and then grow from that ordeal, grow from that unfortunate experience that you have. Living with purpose makes this process easier because you are more likely to understand that there is no perfect human being here on earth, and neither are you. So therefore, you understand the importance, hear me, of learning how to let stuff go. And in some cases, even forgive yourself so that you can move on. I want to share with you a few more takeaways that I think will really help you. Although everyone is different, there are common threads that bind a life with purpose. 1, live by your beliefs and values. 2, set priorities for your life, how you're going to do life. People who live a life of purpose identify those activities that matter most to them and spend the majority of their time and effort in those areas. I can't tell you how many times over the past maybe 20 years that I've allowed things to distract me from the priorities that I've set. And so I have to quickly push the reset button and say, hey, look, that's not in line with my set of priorities. And so I have to do those things that matter most to me, with me fulfilling my purpose. And my purpose is to do X, Y, Z and make a difference in other people's lives through this, whatever this is for you. And the third thing that you have to do is achieve balance. Achieving balance means living up to one's potential in all facets of life. And then here's the fourth thing that I'm really big on, and that is make a difference. People who live a life of purpose make a meaningful difference in someone else's life. Did you hear that? People who live a life of purpose make a meaningful difference in someone else's life. And here's the last one. Live in the moment. If you're going to live big, listen to me. Live life big, live in the moment. People who live a life of purpose cherish every moment and seek to live without regret. I've watched it. There's a lot of millionaires, listen to me, they believe this, they live by this. They take joy in the experiences that life gives and don't worry about keeping score. Dr. Seuss may have said it best. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it's happened. Listen, friends, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I want to hear from you and what some of your personal takeaways were, or how you have applied these principles to your life from this episode, or another week from now, or 2 weeks from now. Email me today, Anthony at abetteryoupodcast.com. That's Anthony at abetteryoupodcast.com. I want to thank you again for joining me this week. And if you'd like to hear further discussion on topics like this, go to my YouTube channel, Anthony McFarland Channel. Anthony McFarland Channel. God bless you. Until the next time.
Thank you for tuning into A Better You program with Anthony McFarland.